Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we're back from a brand new video. Today's video, it's time to ride that high for Thursday night all the way up to Perth as Rangers take on a different test in St Johnstone. But as always, before we get into the game of football and the preview itself, a quick little shout out to the channel sponsors and the channel legends themselves, One Football, whose link is right down there in the description below. Now to business then, shall we? And as always, let's start off with the oppositional preview and have a look at this St Johnstone side. And right off the bat, it just needs to be said that this St Johnstone team is very unlike the last few teams we've actually previewed and spoken about on this channel. They're not undefeated since a new manager came in. They're not crazy good at home and struggling away, and they don't play on a plastic park, which for me, as a Rangers fan, is great news. But all joking on that aside, the one thing that this St Johnstone team does actually have going for it is some character, and you can't take that away from them, because you think of it, you look at them where they sit in the league, right? They're sitting 8th, which isn't fantastic, it isn't great, but it's great when you compare to how they started this season off. You go back to it, no wins in their first 9 games, getting slapped off everyone, 22 goals conceded. They were odds-on favourites to go down, yet they've managed once again to steady the ship, rally it, ride the storm and climb back up the league. And that's without the wages available like at your Hearts or the other teams around them actually outspending them once again. By the way, no, it's the same core group of players led by their manager Tommy Wright, who I rate very, very highly, once again digging in deep and grinding out the results, even after losing once again one of their best performing players. This time it was Kennedy to Aberdeen. It still doesn't seem to faze them. Even when he loses his best players, Tommy Wright is a bit of a magician. He just goes like this. He's a bit of a tinkerer and he finds a way to get the results by hook or by crook. It's certainly not pretty in the eye, but it is effective. And I think that phrasing right there, not pretty on the eye, but effective, not only perfectly sums up this St Johnstone team, but also sums up one of the most informed players right now, and is someone who is going to be a key player in this game versus Rangers, and that is none other than Stevie May. No, I never ever thought I'd be sitting here saying that. But beyond the memes and the stats and the goal to game ratio and all the jokes that's been said about Stevie May, when you watch this guy play, not only is he showing flashes of what he was capable of a couple of years ago, it looks like he's getting his confidence back, his chest is starting to go out, and not only is he a physical threat, which he's always been, he's starting to find his pace again, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the big man's got pace, and if you've watched St Johnstone this season, that is what they're living and dying off, that long ball in behind to Stevie May, using his power and pace to hold up the ball and bringing others into play. Maybe not scoring as many goals as you'd want from a centre forward, but by God is he playing his part in the turnaround so far for St Johnstone, and I'm sure that's going to be a main feature in the game tomorrow. Now normally if I was just talking about St Johnstone versus anyone else, I'd pick out Jason Holt as being the other key player in this game because of his energy and his work rate. Hell, we saw that with his own eyes. He maybe wasn't quite good enough to where we wanted to go, but by God did he give absolute everything for every second he was on the park, and that's exactly what he's gave to St Johnstone. But we can't preview him, we can't break him down in this game because he's still technically on loan from Rangers, so he won't be playing tomorrow, which does leave a very, very interesting void to fill for St Johnstone, and it brings up the old question on how are they going to play? Now I'm sure there's going to be a couple of people shouting defensive soon as I say how St Johnstone are going to be playing. Hell, you're 100% right, but it does go a wee bit deeper than the usual pile everyone back and hit long balls in behind the defence, because when you just look at St Johnstone, they've not got a consistent formation at all. Honestly, St Johnstone are the only team in the top flight of Scottish football that changes their formation every single game depending on who they're up against. They didn't even pick what formation suits them best. It's what formation best counteracts the other team. Now we see this quite a lot for against Rangers, like every team's got a formation or style to play against Rangers, but St Johnstone have it for every single team in the league, and that's how they've changed things round after their bad start so far this season. For instance, if you look at their game versus Aberdeen, which they won 1-0 by the way, they played a 4-5-1 and flooded the middle of the park to neutralise people like Ferguson, McGinn and Quiet, everything that usually comes from the Aberdeen midfield. That was just 3 league games ago. 2 league games ago, they were up against Motherwell, who are also doing very well this season. They played a 4-1-4-1 and changed their tactics completely and just went full-on attack mode on Motherwell's backline and just pushed everyone forward, chased everybody down, put them under pressure, and they came away with a 2-1 win. And just to top it all off, in their most recent game versus Ross County, they played a 3-5-2 to mirror Ross County's 3 at the back formation, which they usually play at home. Honestly, shapeshifters every single game. Which means I have absolutely no idea how they're going to set up to play versus Rangers. Thanks for that, Tommy, right? Really appreciate that, helping out the old content. It's not as if you can go back and look at how they set up versus Rangers and Celtic as well, because it's completely different every single game. I mean, they played a 3-5-1-1 versus Celtic a couple of weeks ago. I never even knew that was a formation. And I think with that being said, that's the perfect place to end the old St Johnstone preview. They are a team that never ever knows when they're beat. That's why they are joint top drawers in the league as well. So Rangers are going to have to be clinical. When they take the lead, they can't take the foot off the gas and leave even a little bit of room for them to come back into it. Now though, it's time to talk about the team we all love the most, and it's the team that's had us all bouncing since Thursday night. And that is a perfect transition into this week's press conference, because that Thursday night game was one of the main talking points throughout this week's press conference that featured Scotty Arfield and Gary McAllister. You can find the full thing, as always, on the official Rangers YouTube channel. But that game right there on Thursday was massive, because when everything looked lost and the tie looked over, this Rangers team rolled up their sleeves, they stuck together, and that quality, that moment we've been waiting for click into place finally happened at 2-0 down versus Braga. Not only did we drag ourselves back into the game and back into the tie, but we went ahead and pushed on and came away with a win versus a frighteningly good football team. And that moment that was sparked by Hadji's fantastic first goal in that game is the moment we've been waiting for since we came back for the winter break, and it's the moment we keep hearing about every single week in these press conferences to show and wake us up for the winter break blues. And boy, God, was it beautiful. And if I'm honest with you, that is all I wanted to mention from this week's press conference. The players and the management, the staff, everyone at Rangers Football Club is using that moment where it all clicked into place as the catalyst to fuel us on for the rest of the season on. But that did bring me to the old question of today's video that I wanted to ask you, because you think about it, when everything started to change into place. We made a certain change with Ryan Kent coming off, Canberra coming on the park, playing 2 up top with Hadji in the middle. That on back-to-back games now changed a game of football. So you already know where I'm going to go with this one. But I want to ask you, do you think Rangers should actually start that way instead of being forced into changing it when the slow and predictable 4-3-3 has once again failed us, like it has been failing us since we came back for the winter break? Or do you keep it the exact same it was and see if this boost and energy boost that's going around Rangers Football Club right now from that Thursday game, to see if that will carry us on? I'd be very interested to know what your thoughts and opinions are. In my opinion, which is going to be no shock to anyone watching today's video, I am 100% backing both Canberra and Morelos to start this game with Hadji in behind, because I think that'd be vital for not only this game, but for the game on Wednesday night as well, to get more minutes under the old legs of Canberra and get that chemistry with a football team as well, which I think is going to be absolutely vital. But I've just got to say, as exciting as it is to think we will go with this positive formation, there's not even a muttering or a whisper ahead of this game that anything will be changed. It's going to be the 4-3-3, and we can pretty much pick the entire lineup. And speaking of lineup, let's jump over and discuss some team news then, shall we? Because I do have a bit of information to give you guys regarding Borna Barisic. That's right, the man who's been asked a lot on Twitter and on Instagram and in my comment section, is he going to be fit for this game, CJ? He has been officially ruled out ahead of the game tomorrow. There's still a chance he'll be ready for Wednesday's game versus Braga, but it looks like Andy Halliday, RAC, once again will be flying high in Perth. Unless we start with the best left back in the world, that is, by the name of Joe Rabel, which I highly doubt. The rest of the team news remains unchanged. There's no fresh injuries, there's no fresh knocks. Everyone is good to go for this game besides Jermaine Defoe and Hollander, who again are 3 to 4 more weeks out. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That is the oppositional preview, that is the press conference, and that is the latest team news wrapped up in a neat little bow. Now, all that's left is for me and thee to get our prediction ons out there. So what are you thinking about the game tomorrow? What's the score going to be and who is going to be your goal scorers? Well, you guys are hopefully getting involved down in the comments section below. I will give you mine very, very briefly. I'm expecting a bounce. I'm expecting a bit more energy. I'm expecting a bit more happiness for the Rangers team in this game. But I'm still looking at this game as being a tricky game, especially if the game actually goes ahead. By the way, I hear the weather's absolutely terrible in Perth. But I'm going to go with a confident Rangers 2, St Johnstone nil. My goal scorers are going to be as followed: Alfredo Morelos and Mr Hadji. That's right, as much as I want Kamberi to start, I just didn't see it, so I'm going to go with Alfredo and the man, the myth, the Hadji. And now that me and thee have had their say, let's sit back, relax and hear from the people on Twitter. There's actually been 787 votes already. Thank you so much for getting involved. I'm reading this poll out a little bit early, so thanks for getting involved. 4% votes for St Johnstone, 4% votes for a draw, but the far away winner with 92% of the vote is a Rangers away win. So let's see what they've had to say then, shall we? Deacon Neil was the first one in, and he writes in, gonna go 3-0. Think the last 25 minutes against Braga as they kick up the backside we needed. Gustav writes in 4-0 Rangers. Hadji free kick, Morelos 30 double, and Aribo to dribble around 10 men and backheel it in. Only 4 more than he did on Thursday. Interesting, Gustav. Interesting, son. Cow Wallerspoon writes in, gonna go with a 3-0. I think Kamberi will get a goal along with Ryan Jack and Scotty Arfield. Callum McCracken writes in 3-0 to Rangers. Hadji, Alfredo and Big Flo. Think the comeback on Thursday night might give the lads a boost. Kai Berwick writes in 3-1 to Rangers with Morelos, Jack and Tav to score. Andrew Rooney writes in 4-1 to Rangers. Hadji, Jack, Kamberi and Halliday. We would love to see that. Scott Renfield writes in 2-0 Hadji and Kamberi with the goals. Dino 8982 writes in 4-1 to Rangers. Hadji, Morelos, Kamberi and Kent. They need to keep the momentum going from that amazing comeback on Thursday. It's just so great to see so much positivity now, lads, in the old tweets. Chris writes in, hopefully still boosting after Thursday night's performance, ready to wipe the floor with anyone who stands in their way. I'm going to go with Rangers 4-0. Scottish Raider writes in, Kamberi to score 2, Hadji to score 1, and a cheeky Katic header 4-0 to the Rangers. We are due someone getting an absolute doing. And the last one we read out in tonight's video actually comes from Philip Ewan McGregor, and he writes in 4-0 to Rangers, Jack Double, Kamberi and Joe Aribo. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The people have spoken. It's going to be 4-0 because I think the majority of everyone said that score. But that's it. That's us all done and dusted with today's video. You've heard from the people. You've heard from myself. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. And as always, I've been Siege992. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.